Today we will start another chapter, a new chapter in Science 2, which is chapter number 2, Life Processes and Living Organisms, part 1. And this chapter starts on the page number 12. Let us quickly look before we start the chapter what we have already studied in Science 2 and what still remains to be covered. If you go to the content page, there are 10 chapters in Science 2, just like we have 10 chapters in Science 1. And out of these chapters, we have completed heredity and evolution. We have completed environmental management. We completed towards green energy. We completed animal classification. We completed social health, and we have completed disaster management. Right? So out of 10, we have completed 6. 4 remain. So what we will do now is, we will now complete part 1, part 2 of life processes and living organisms. We will study these 2 chapters, one after the other. Chapter number 2 and 3. And then we will study chapter number 7 and 8. Just by looking at the name, you would realize that they are related to each other. So if we study in this order, it will make more sense to us. So first we will complete chapter 2 and 3. Then we will take up 1 chapter of Science 1. Then we will come back and complete the remaining 2 chapters of Science 2. And then we will go back to Science 1 and complete the last chapter of Science 1. This is what we will do. So let us start with this chapter, which is chapter number 12, Life Processes in Living Organisms. Chapter 12. As I said, I'll not be using slides today. I'll be using the textbook, and I will also be using the whiteboard. So what we will do in this session, we will do whatever we do whenever we start a new lesson. We will see how what is there in the chapter, how the chapter is structured, and we will understand what are the basic things that we need to know before we start the chapter, and we will try to start the chapter also very slowly. First session slow. From next time onwards, it will be fast, and then it will work only if you come prepared. It's a short chapter, but like all the chapters of Science 2, it has a lot of information and a lot of new information. This is not related to maths in any way, but it is connected to Science 1. We will see that connection today and understand how we need to prepare to understand this chapter better. Okay? So before we jump into this chapter, a simple question for you. What is the basic unit of life? If I ask you, what is the basic unit of life? You can speak or you can type. The same question can also be asked in a different way if you are unable to understand this question, is what is the smallest structure which can be called as alive, which can be considered alive, which can be considered to have a life? What is the basic unit of life? You know the answer. Don't hesitate. Try. Share. So Chanda is saying that air is the basic unit of life. Right? No, Chanda, that is not the correct answer. Akhilesh and Rajesh are saying that the answer is oxygen. Right? No, Akhilesh, Rajesh. So Etesham is saying oxygen. So Akhilesh, Rajesh, Chanda, Etesham. Understand what the question is. Question is not asking what is required for life. what is required for life would mean कि life के लिए क्या जरूरी है. That is not the question. The question is, what is the basic unit of life? What is the smallest form of life? Akhilesh, Rajesh, Etisham, if you are listening to me, if you are understanding, then you will not give the answer water, energy. Rahul, once again, listen, don't be in a hurry. क्वेश्चन ये नहीं है कि लाइफ के लिए क्या जरूरी है. क्वेश्चन ये है कि लाइफ का सबसे छोटा फॉर्म कौन सा है. What is the smallest structure? What is the basic unit of life? Prachi, your answer is perfectly correct. The basic unit of life we all have studied is called a cell. I agree that oxygen is required for life, water is required for life, but that is not what the question is. The basic unit of life is cell. Some organisms are unicellular, so some organisms, their entire body is made up of only one cell. And there are organisms whose bodies are made up of multiple cells, millions and millions of cells. They are called multicellular organisms. Give me an example of a unicellular organism. Give me an example of unicellular organism. So Usman is saying plant. Okay, thank you for giving an answer, Usman. That's wrong. Chand is now saying amoeba is correct. Aarti is also saying the same thing. Aarti Bania. We all should be aware of this, no? Virus. But is it a unicellular organism? Check and tell. Are viruses unicellular organisms or not? A question mark for you. Another very simple example is bacteria. Bacteria are also unicellular organisms. Anushka is saying paramecium. Yes, correct. So Fiza, Etesham, Anushka, correct. Alfia is saying fungi. No, fungi is not correct. Because mushrooms are also fungi and mushrooms are not unicellular. Right? And Etesham, protist is not an organism. It's a class of organism. Chan, protista is not an organism. It is a class of organism. So protista cannot be taken as an example. Etesham is saying yeast. Yes, that is correct. Yeast is unicellular. Same thing, Chan. If you are listening to me, then you will not give further answers like this. So if protista is a group of organisms, porifera is also a group of organisms. So they are not examples of unicellular organisms. But you are right that the organisms belonging to the group protista, right, they are unicellular. That I agree. But protista cannot be given as an example for unicellular organisms. Now give me the most common example of multicellular organism. Most common. Yes, Chan, you read my mind. Correct. Humans, right? Human beings. Human beings are multicellular. Anushka, once again you are saying fungi. Maybe yes, maybe no. Check if fungi is always multicellular. Check. Do check if viruses are unicellular. Do check if all the fungi are multicellular. Now, Usman is saying animal. Now, animal cannot be an example. Animal refers to a group of organisms. If you say a cat or dog, a lion or tiger, a snake, then all those are multicellular organisms. They are perfect examples. Etesham, saying plants will not be a good thing. If you say a rose plant, a mango tree, they are multicellular organisms. Prachi has checked and said viruses are not cellular organisms. What do you mean, Prachi? They are not cellular or they are not unicellular, multicellular? We will not have that discussion right now in the class. We will take it up later. Okay, so do check what is the status of virus and fungus. You will find interesting answers. Okay. Let us keep the discussion going. Now, when there are multiple cells, the cells organize into something. What are those things called? A lot of cells come together. A lot of cells, similar cells come together. Very good, Shraddha, fastest finger. Tissues, they make tissues. There are different types of cells. We have studied this last year. Neurons, nerve cells, the muscle cells, the cells in the skin. Different cells are there. Even in plants, different types of cells are there. And cells of the same kind, they make something that are called tissues. Tissues, in turn, combine to make something else. What do they make? Prachi has given the organs, right? Organs, different organs come together to make something else. And Prachi has organ system. Organ systems. Now, what I would like you to do is go through the first paragraph under the heading Living Organisms and Life Processes. I will show you what I'm asking you to do, where I want you to read. Read this first paragraph here, this paragraph. Right? And when you are reading this, try to find out some organ systems. What organ systems are mentioned in this paragraph? Read and share. So, thank you, Jan, Akhilesh, Rajesh, Karina, Prachi, and Anushka for sharing what you have found. And Aarti. Okay, good. So, if you start reading this paragraph, at the very beginning of the paragraph, the information that we are looking for is given. Digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, and the control systems. This is what we were supposed to identify. These are organ systems. Organs are parts of our specific parts of our bodies. Right? So again, understand a slight difference. A hand, we can call it as part of a body. A stomach, yes, that is also part of our body, but it is more commonly called as an organ of our body. Eyes, part of our body and organ of our body. Right? Organs are specific parts of our body that perform specific things. And when different organs come together, they work together to do something. Tell me, what is the function of digestive system? These are the systems: the digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, and the control systems. We have studied in previous grades in some detail. Not all detail, but some detail. Do you remember what digestive system is? Prachi is saying digestive system is for digestion of food. What is the meaning of digestion of food? Speak or type. And this is how you should also study when you are studying on your own, right? You will read, you will look at every word. If you know something, it's okay. If you don't know something, you need to research, check in the dictionary, check on the internet, and then you will learn. जैसे अभी भी आप कर रहे हो, that you can do on your own also. Okay, so Akhilesh Rajesh is saying digestive system to digest food, digest the food. And I'm still asking, what do you mean by digesting the food? So Prachi is saying, breaking down the food in smaller parts. Okay, that is a very broad, very basic definition of what a digestive system is, that it breaks down the food in small parts. But it's not complete. It's good. It's good to start with, but it is missing a main element. Chanda is saying digestion is about converting the food into energy. Chanda, that answer is completely wrong. Digestion, yes, it means breaking down food into smaller parts. Shraddha is saying digest out waste materials in our food. No. When we digest, there is something that we cannot digest. So that is excreted. That's a separate thing. Digestion, remember this, now listen and understand carefully. Yes, we are breaking down the food. But what for? Yes, Muskan, now you are on the right track, Muskan and Sania. We are breaking down the food into smaller parts so that our cells can derive nutrition from that. Our cells can derive nutrition. Our body can derive nutrition. Nutrition means things that are good for our body. Tell me the main nutrients that we are aware of. First example I will give you, carbohydrates. Tell me more. What other nutrients are necessary for our body? See, the moment I tell you carbohydrate, you are able to answer. But when I tell you nutrients, most of you are not able to make this connection, nutrients. So carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. Yes, you know this. Okay? So when we are eating, we are not eating simple carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. We are eating complex molecules. So those things have to be broken down. Broken down का मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम दांत से चबा रहे हैं तो टूट गया. ना. It has to break down both physically and chemically. This is what was missing from your answers. The breakdown has to be both physical and chemical so that the body can derive nutrition. Respiratory system is what Chanda said. Deriving energy from food. That is what is respiration. Most of us get this wrong. And most of us will say respiration means breathing in and breathing out. That is only one small part of respiration. As Shraddha also said, inhalation and exhalation, right? That is breathing. That is only one part of respiration, and it is the smaller part. It is the mechanical part. Circulatory system. When we think of circulatory system, one word should come to our mind, all of our minds. What word is that? Circulatory system. It's a word that we, yes. Blood. Not Prachi, not nerves. Blood. Khoon. And the blood inside our body is not flowing randomly. The blood is flowing in our body in blood vessels. Do you remember the names of the 3 types of blood vessels? What are the 3 types of blood vessels that we have in our bodies? All of us have. All human beings. One is arteries. Second one, Shraddha has said, veins. जो हमको यहाँ पे सब दिखता है ना नीला नीला, ऊपर ऊपर दिखता है blood vessels, they are veins. Arteries we cannot see, but they are much deeper in our bodies. And third answer Shraddha and Prachi have given, they are capillaries. Capillaries are very thin blood vessels that join arteries and veins. Arteries, veins and capillaries. Excretory system. There is a very common mistake that students do, that they think that when we eat something, when we digest our food and the waste product is excreted out, that is excretory system. No, that is not excretory system. That is still the digestive system. Excretory system is different. What is the main organ of excretory system? Kidney, correct. Kidneys. And the excretory system also has skin, जिससे कि sweat comes out, but the main organ is kidney. So excretory system is mainly involved with liquid wastes, fluid wastes. Last year thigh. Kidney. How many kidneys do we have? Every human being. How many? Two each. Just above our waist, कमर के ऊपर, and on our dorsal side, पीछे side, not ventral side, dorsal side. Yes, Akhilesh, excretory system is about removing the waste substances from our body. And these waste substances are in the form of what? What is that waste substance called that comes out of our body? We studied this last year. A specific name starting with an U, umbrella wala U. Urine, U-R-I-N-E, urine. That is the output of the excretory system. Finally, there are many organ systems, but these are the main organ systems that you have studied and that are mentioned in our textbook. The last one of that is control systems. Right? So our body is not. There are multiple cells, millions and millions of cells, many tissues, many organs, many organ systems, but they all are working together. Otherwise, we will not be able to do the things that we are able to do. Forget about thinking and inventing and writing. If our body parts do not work together, we will not even be able to stand up, walk. So to control all the functions of the body, we have the control systems. And we studied 2 control systems that are there in our body. We studied it last year. Prachi has already mentioned one, or maybe both. I forgot what she has mentioned. But now try remember, what are the 2 control systems that we have in our body? Yes, one is nervous system. Nervous system mainly consists of our brain, which is in our head, and the spinal cord, which is inside our spine, backbone. But there is another control system. What is that? It does not involve nerves. It does not involve electricity. The other control system involves chemicals. It's a chemical coordination. Prachi is now remembering. We call them hormones. Those chemicals are called hormones. Okay? We have multiple glands in our body that secrete, and we have multiple parts of our body that secrete, that produce specific chemicals, which are called hormones, which control our growth and other functions also. Maybe you remember the name endocrine system, exocrine system, endocrine glands, exocrine glands, the thymus gland that we have here, the pituitary that we have in our brain. Hormones. So 2 control systems, nervous system and chemical control system. Now, all these systems, they work and they work together. If we switch to science 1 a little bit, and you have already answered the question that I'm going to ask you, what is required to do work? And some of you have already answered. At least one person has answered this question. What do we need to do work? One of you said energy. We need energy. So we need energy to do work. So we need to produce energy. So there is a organ system, or there is a system in our body that produces that energy. Right? And we will study that system this year in this chapter, which is respiratory system. Without energy, we will not be able to do anything. So if the respiratory system fails, even if we eat, we will not be able to digest. Even if there is a heart, the heart will not be able to pump the blood. Even if there is a kidney, the kidney will not be able to filter the blood. Even if there is a brain, spinal cord, and endocrine, exocrine glands, they will not be able to control the functions of our body. Energy is required, nothing is free. Convinced? So that's one part of the chapter. Now let us see what is there in the chapter. We will study two systems in this chapter. One is the respiration. When we say respiration, we will just glance through what is breathing, inhalation, exhalation. That's very simple. This diagram is not this year's diagram. This diagram maybe you are seeing from class 7. You will complete this diagram on your own. No need to draw. You can number. I will make this diagram as part of homework, and you will know how to answer that question. But the main part of the chapter is how we make energy from food. Right? There are all new words: glycolysis, tricarboxylic acid cycle, electron transfer chain reaction. So this production of energy is happening in all the cells, in specific organelle, which is called mitochondria. So we will study this process in detail. This is one part of the chapter. We will study not just how energy is produced in our body, we will also study how energy is produced in some other organisms also. So we will study two types of respiration. One will be called aerobic respiration. Another one will be called anaerobic respiration. There are many spelling mistakes in this chapter, and there are many problems with many of the diagrams and many of the questions and answers in the textbook. So please pay attention when we are studying in class. And then we will study what are the different food items from which we get energy. This is also part of respiration. We will study all carbohydrate, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, everything. The second part of the chapter is about another organ system, which is called as life processes, because these processes are necessary to keep life going. So the another process that we will study is cell division. How cells divide. Okay? This is where the connection is with the next chapter, which is about reproduction. Our body is growing in size. Na? Hum grow kar rahe hain. Why? Two things are happening. Yes, some cells are growing in size. Yes, I agree. But more importantly, the number of cells in our body, they are increasing. And that happens by division. Not only that, constantly cells are dying also. So new cells need to be produced for the growth of our body and to replenish to replace the cells that are dying constantly. We will study two cell division methods. One is called mitosis. Another one is called meiosis. So till now, when we were studying biology, we were just looking at cell organelle. पहले तो हम cell पे ही देखते थे. Then we understood different cell organelles. If you remember, if you try to remember what you studied in previous classes about Golgi apparatus, vacuoles, and mitochondria, nucleus. In this chapter, in this part of the chapter, we will go inside the nucleus and we will see how the cell is dividing, and mainly we will focus how the DNA is dividing, how the nucleus is dividing. So this chapter is also connected to chapter number 1, which talked about heredity and evolution, mitosis and meiosis. Once we understand this, we will connect to the next chapter, which is chapter number 3, life processes in living organisms, part 2. And this focuses on only one process, that is reproduction. So in all, in the two chapters, chapter number 2 and chapter number 3 combined together, we will focus on 3 life processes. One is respiration, where we will understand how energy is produced. Second one is cell division, how cells divide for growth and replacement of other cells. And in chapter number 3, we will study reproduction. So in reproduction, we will understand reproduction in various kinds of organisms, various kinds of reproduction, mainly asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So when we study asexual reproduction, we will study many different methods. And when we study sexual reproduction, we will also study sexual reproduction in human beings also. Right? And this chapter will finish with some very interesting information about twins. Twins. Do we have twins in our class? No. But we will understand what are twins, how are they produced. And we will also understand the boy-girl thing. When is a baby a boy? How is a baby a girl? We will also try to understand briefly how sex and gender, they are different. I have mentioned this in a very, very briefly during one of the news sessions, that sex is male and female, and which is the physical manifestation of male and female, whereas gender is how we believe, what we feel. Very, very, very interesting concepts. Now, because these two chapters are very new to all of us, and these two chapters have many new information, many complex information for all of us, you must come prepared well for you to understand this correctly, properly enough. The reason we have studied the chapters in this particular order is we covered the easier parts, we covered the more general parts of science too earlier. Now we are getting into the details. Now we are getting into more complex concepts in biology, in science too. So now let us start by this. Can you recall on the first page of the chapter? First question, it says, how are foodstuffs and their nutrient contents useful for body? Here itself, I will disagree with the English that has been used in the textbook. The better question would be, how is food, or how are different food items and their nutrients useful for our body? You have already identified the nutrients. So I will not ask that question to you once again. You have identified the main nutrients to be carbohydrates. I will write carbs. We have fats. We have proteins. These are the main. These are called macronutrients because they are required in large amounts. Then we have vitamins. Some people say it as vitamins, some people pronounce it as vitamins. Both are correct, no problem. We have minerals. Minerals are, even iron is a mineral. And you know, iron is required for blood. Only yesterday I was telling you in the class that many or most of the girls in our class suffer from iron deficiency. So it's a mineral deficiency. Okay? These are called micronutrients because they are needed in small amounts. Tell me, what is the basic purpose? What is the main use of carbohydrates? Main use. Of course, we derive energy from almost all the food items, right? What is the main use of carbohydrates? You know this. Yes, correct. Carbohydrates are mainly used to derive energy. Okay. What is the main use of fats? What do we do with fats? So oil, butter, all these things, they give us a lot of fat. What is the main use of fats? Do you know or you don't? Try to karo. Yes. No guessing? Fats also are primarily used to derive energy. Akhilesh and Rajesh said fats are used to create fat in body. No, beta Akhilesh. We will understand what is used to create fat in the body. Whatever we eat, we are eating for nutrition, right? So that nutrition mainly involves energy, and we get most of our energy from carbohydrates and fats. Protein से क्या मिलेगा हमको? I mentioned this when we studied chapter number 1. What are the main things we will derive from proteins? What will we do with that? Yeah. See, please realize that we need to be always prepared. Scouts का होता है ना slogan, always prepared, always ready. Because we don't know what will happen next. Life is very uncertain. Now the proteins, we use them to derive amino acids, or some will pronounce it as amino acids. Also, proteins are mainly used to give structure to our bodies. Vitamins and minerals, they are not used for energy. They are used to help certain organs function properly. They help us regulate certain reactions. So they also act as catalysts and multiple functions. Carbs and fats mainly for energy, proteins mainly for amino acid and structure, vitamins and mineral to make certain life processes possible. They also act as catalysts, and life goes on. Let us look at the second question. Very simple question. What is the importance of balanced diet for our body? In Hindi, we can say balanced diet हमारे शरीर के लिए किस तरीके से जरूरी है? What is the importance? And very easy way of answering such questions is thinking about these questions is this type of question is for you to think कि balanced diet नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? So for that, you need to know what is a balanced diet. Can you tell me what a balanced diet is? Okay. Once again, I'm not seeing any answers. I'm not hearing any answers. I hope you are able to see me. You are able to hear me. Balanced diet. Diet means khana. Why are we eating? For nutrition. What are we trying to get from nutrition? What are the nutrients? Carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. So balanced diet means a diet which has enough of everything, which has carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. Now it is very easy to answer. If we don't have everything in the right proportion, then there will be deficiency. जैसे अगर हम सिर्फ खेलते रहेंगे, पढ़ाई नहीं करेंगे, गड़बड़ है. अगर हम सिर्फ पढ़ाई करते रहेंगे, खेलेंगे नहीं, तो भी गड़बड़ है. वैसे ही, if we only eat carbohydrate and we don't eat vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, it will be a problem. So what is the importance of balanced diet? Balanced diet is necessary for proper functioning of all our organ systems, for all our life processes. Can you please confirm if the answer makes sense? I'm very surprised that no one answered this question. These questions are very suitable for our class. Number 3. Which different functions are performed by muscles in body? Which different functions? And I will tell you that you can give the answer in just 2 words. Muscles का क्या function है, क्या use? And it is not कि body बनाना है, selfie खींचना है. That is not the function of muscles. What is the function of muscles? Very good, Praj. All muscles, whatever kind they may be, their function is movement. Our body, we are able to move. Our hand, fingers, everything, whatever it is able to move because of muscles. Muscles contract and muscles relax. And because of these 2 operations that are possible in muscles, our body parts can move. Our body can also move. The movement is necessary. Thank you. Good. Correct, Jan. Number 4. What is the importance of digestive juices in digestive system? Now, if you listen to me when I was explaining to you what is digestive system, what happens in digestive system, then you will be able to answer this question correctly and completely. So, Chand is saying it helps in digestion. Yes, it helps. Agreed. But how? How does it help? दांत तो है हमारे पास. Why do we need digestive juices? हमको सोचना चाहिए. What is digestion? Is it only physical breaking? We have teeth in the mouth. Do we have teeth in the stomach? So is digestion only about physical breaking? No, I told you. It is also about chemical breaking. Breaking down of the molecules into smaller molecules. New molecules are produced. What is that process called when new molecules are produced? Science 1. Is it a physical change or is it a chemical change? It's a chemical change. So these digestive juices help in the chemical changes of the digestive process. Okay. So one of the very common digestive juices that we all have experienced, I don't know whether you remember this or not. Let's see if you remember. हमारा मुंह हमेशा गीला रहता है. हम जब ज्यादा बोल रहे होते हैं तब भी हमारे मुंह पे थूक आता है. हम उसको फिर अंदर ले लेते हैं. What is that? It is not spitting. It is not spit. There is a special word for that. Yes, Prachi, correct. Let us see if anyone else remembers. और जब हम खाने के बारे में सोचते हैं तब भी हमारा मुंह गीला हो जाता है ना. जब हम बहुत अच्छा खाना देखते हैं तब भी हमको हमारा मुंह गीला हो जाता है. Yes, Muskan and Sania. Saliva, SALIVA, is the very common digestive juice, which all of us are able to see, touch, feel. Okay. Number 5. Which system is in action for removal of waste materials produced in human body? Which system? Just name the system. It's not the digestive system. Excretory system. Correct. We already discussed this. Now, Chanda's question. What is the role? No, not Chanda's question. What is the role of circulatory system in energy production? पढ़े हो क्या? Circulatory system का क्या काम है energy production? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. I don't know. सोचो सोचो. Maybe you know. Why do we need blood? Why do we need the blood to go to every part of the body? Why do we have this organ called heart, which is constantly pumping blood, whether we are asleep or awake, whether we are running or sitting? The heart never stops. If the heart stops, we may die. So something very important is being done by blood. Akhilesh, Rajesh, it is not about supply of energy, because energy will be produced by the cells themselves using respiration. Prachi, you are correct. This production of energy needs not just food, it also needs oxygen. And that oxygen needs to be taken to all parts of the body. So blood acts as a carrier. It's the transport system. Blood carries oxygen to different parts of the body, to different cells of the body, so that they can break down the food and produce energy. Without blood, oxygen will not reach the cells and respiration will not be possible. See the connection between circulatory system and respiratory system. Question number 7, we already discussed nervous system and the chemical coordination system. Any doubts? Okay. So one person has given a thumbs up saying no doubt, and one person has sent a thumb down saying no doubt. Okay, I understood. One more concept from previous studies and even from science 1 we need to understand, and that is the concept of oxidation. Oxidation. Let us see if you remember, and let us see how much you remember. We studied oxidation in detail in science 1, chemical reactions. No? Not one, but 3 definitions we saw. So what is oxidation? If we know these terms, then when we study the chapter, it will be easy for us. We will understand what is being said. If we don't know these terms, then we will be lost in the jungle. What is oxidation? In 3 different ways. It's a chemical reaction. Already you have guessed it. So someone is saying addition of oxygen. Oxygen. Yes, I agree. Is the same person who is saying oxidation is also about removal of hydrogen. I agree. Okay. Very good. 2 people, Prachi and Chan. Yes, correct. Oxidation is a chemical process. It's a chemical reaction in which oxygen is added or the hydrogen is removed. But we can define oxidation even without using oxygen and hydrogen. There may be oxidation even though there is no oxygen and no hydrogen. What is that? It is something related to electrons. What is it? What is oxidation in terms of electrons? Again, you don't need to remember this. You need to understand how chemical reactions happen. If you remember that oxidation is addition of oxygen, and if you remember oxygen is a non-metal, it will take up electrons. So when we add oxygen, electrons will be removed. Yes, Prachi. Removal of electrons. So such processes, such chemical changes where oxygen is added, hydrogen is removed, or electrons are removed, they will be called oxidation. If you remember when we were looking at the chapter, there is something called as electron transfer chain reaction. This is the connection. We will stop here for today, for now. Your homework will be, I will show it in the textbook. You will answer these 7 questions on the first page of the chapter. Can you recall? You will also answer another, can you recall? No, you will also answer this use your brain power question. You will answer, can you recall, at the bottom of the page number 12. You will complete the diagram of the breathing, not respiration, the breathing, upper respiratory, body level respiration, you will complete. You will find the answers for question number 1, 2, and 3. Can you tell here in this, on this page, which you can find out, and we have discussed most of this. We have discussed, and you will read properly page number 12, page number 13, page number 14, page number 15, right, till page number 15. 12, 13, 14, 15, 4 pages. Please read the best you can so that we can study together. What we will do in the next class is, see, there is so much of description, so much of words, paragraphs. Our prime aim in this chapter would be how to summarize that information in form of reactions, bullet points, so that things are easier to remember, easier to understand, and easy to write also. So come prepared by reading this and answering these questions, and we will continue in the next class on Saturday. That is for now.